Howdy, howdy. The Boylan Titans are no strangers to the stage they took Wednesday night as they're back in the sectional semifinals for a third straight year. After last year's heartbreaker in the title game, they're hungry for payback. And Thursday, it's Canelan standing in their way at Belvidere High School. Let's dive into the action. The Titans are far too familiar with this stage, and they're looking to bring the heat right from the start. It's Johanna Hawley with the lead pass to younger sibling Delilah, racing towards the goal, taking the lefty shot with a little too much power, but Boylan shows no lack of aggression in this one. Just moments later, Johanna Hawley puts this corner in play, and the Titans are putting a header in with some quick instincts, but it's Natalie Myers getting the huge stop for the Knights. Still scoreless. Posada goes to Hawley. Hawley to Ava Galuzzo, taking the shot just a hair wide, and Boylan is really hoping to get one in the back of the net soon. Now check out Delilah Hawley with the footwork, getting past one defender, slicing this pass to a one-on-one Jocelyn Posada, breaking the scoreless tie. That's 1-0 Boylan just over 16 minutes into the first half. And in the second half, the Titans get some insurance goals as Boylan is headed to the sectional final with a 3-0 win. The Titans will play the winner of this game between the Burlington Central Rockets and Belvidere North. We're going to start these highlights in the second half of the scoreless game between these two teams. The Blue Thunder are trying to force an offensive surge. Cecilia Popocha makes a nice pass to Caitlin Rivera Areola, dishing this pass straight to junior Haley Galas with one defender to beat, taking the crossbody shot to the left, and that gives Belvidere North a 1-0 lead with just over 20 minutes remaining of the second half. The Rockets look to strike right back after that one as Elsa Carlson takes a couple shots but is denied by Kaylee Murphy in goal, and the Blue Thunder hold on the rest of the way, winning this one 1-0.